Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to the Gundam Explain show. It is the 30th of March, so already nearing the end of March. Did this year just start? Do we have conversations about the year going by fast until like August, and then people start talking about holidays coming up?
Right. And then you're like, where did the year go?
Yeah, exactly. No, but yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Hopefully we don't have any crashes. I've been, planning around that. Again, if it crashes, I'll be right back. But always let us know if there's little audio things I can fix. But
Yeah.
Goose, thanks for showing up. You were with us yesterday on Steven's channel. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a blast.
Continuing the Isaac that we found out can also be a Hyzac if you wanted it to be.
Yeah. Who thought that they would give you all these option parts in a kit from the early 90s? Like,
I know that's pretty cool. But Neo X, good to see you. Ian Hansen Armand, good to see you. Travis Wadlow, how messed up would it be if I started greeting y'all with happy birthday? Yeah, in
a
context of Witch from Mercury, maybe that is messed up.
little
Um,
bit.
so Jamkel X, good to see you. Twinsies, says Ian. Yeah, the backwards hat, I think, is doing
Yeah.
that. You can't tell us apart.
And both Gundam branded, I think. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that
look at
is right.
that.
I like that one. I like that RX-78 two head with the
Oh,
green and
yeah.
red. Yeah,
We'll
that's
keep it
cool.
this way for the stream so that we
Okay,
can,
there you go.
represent.
Yeah. Let's see. Shirt Lad, good to see you. Santo Bell, good. Oh, glad you're here, Santo Bell. I'm going to be talking about your little gift here shortly. Barry BB, good to see you. Johnny Tacoma, SR5. Oh, and coincidentally, it is Barry BB's birthday. So I think in that event, it doesn't count. Like his death doesn't count. Like, because it's
Yeah.
really his birthday.
Yes.
Um,
Happy birthday, Barry.
yeah, happy birthday indeed. Well, yeah, like I just was talking about Steven's show we did yesterday. Lots of fun. Link in the description. Was with us. It's a lot of fun with three people. And you kind of so first you had the members only stream earlier in the week where you were talking about using like the LED filament, I guess, within resin casted like effect parts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Stay tuned for that because that might be something that like, I throw up on the shop where, if you want some beam saber parts that are light up, high
Oh,
grade because I mean everybody has like LED kits for master grades and perfect grades, but we got to give some love to these 1/144th scale kits.
yeah, Robot
Um
Spirits gets that love straight from the company with all the awesome effect parts. So yeah, to see stuff for the Gunpla.
yeah. So yeah, we've got these light up filaments that I'll be casting in some resin parts. We've got some prototypes here that have a couple flaws, but we're gonna work out the kinks and hopefully have something to share.
That is awesome. I can't wait. I want to be your first customer actually when that comes out because that's the type of stuff that like I would get for my Gunpla, all of them.
Yeah, it's just those little touches that help push it over the edge, and because you've been getting into airbrushing and
Yeah,
panel lining and doing like all these awesome little customizations, and so whatever we can do to crank it to 11, so to speak.
yeah, and light up stuff like that is always cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of that might answer the question, but any other Gundam related stuff did you get into this week?
Well, we do have a new 3D model that is going out to the Patreon members on Saturday for April Fools.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking like, hey, I'm gonna joke with everybody and like, I don't know, post something silly like, oh yeah, here's like a tiny Amuro pilot or something. But
Or an STL of an STL. How
yeah,
would that even work?
I don't know, but then I was like, I'm not gonna tease the Patreon
Yeah.
supporters like that. So, no, yeah, I'm very excited about this model. It's a personal favorite of mine. So,
Oh,
I'm just
sweet.
trying to nail the pose down right today, and then we'll get
Okay.
that going. What about you? What Gundam related?
Yeah.
Aside from, of course, the tier list yesterday
Oh,
and
yeah.
the
Good
comparison
point.
video on Monday.
Good point. Yeah, that comparison video, I thought it was neat. Again, like as someone that I like to consider myself an artist to some degree. I love creating things. I love seeing the different looks of the aerial, why that exists. To me, it's like I like to dive into the artist. So, and I brought
Yeah.
this up yesterday, like with Hot Toys, there's this individual named JC Hong that he's the one that sculpts the faces. And so it's like a lot of times when you're buying that product, you're getting something that was envisioned by him. And even like the Verka or version
Yeah.
Katoki stuff, it's like, oh, that's the artist's interpretation. So when I saw that high grade aerial, I'm like, who was it? One person that was like, I want to do it like this, or was it maybe designed by committee, which is still cool? It could be a bunch of people at Bandai making Gunpla. It's like, okay, let's make this
Yeah.
different than the cartoon, but in what way? So
Right, and when you're dealing with something that is articulated and has to move in a certain way, like, it's always one thing to be a mechanical designer for a show where it's like, "Oh, well, we just we'll just animate it
animate it.
however we want."
Yeah,
But then it's like, well, when you have to actually create something physical that moves and you're like, "Well, I don't know how this joint is gonna kind of
right.
work," so you kind of have to make some concessions there, and I mean, I'm learning that myself when I'm doing some of these 3D models for 3D printing, is I'm like,
Yeah.
you know even something as silly as like the sort of skirt overhang that hangs over like a Zaku foot, you're like, well, I can't turn the foot in certain ways because then it clips into the skirt. So it's like you kind of have to get very creative with how you pose things. And
Yeah, and that even speaks on that Isaac, because even the construction was kind of interesting too, where you're kind of putting the pieces together, and then like there's that final piece that really snaps everything in place.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, cool stuff. So there's that video. There was then the tier list video, which as I was tiering it, I was like, you know what, which is so new to me. I don't really have strong opinions on things other than the Demi trainer or that Demi mobile suit. I love that look.
it's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And so other than that, this week, I've been playing a little bit of GBO2. I had that Atlas video go up, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit when we get to some of the news. But yeah, the Atlas suit dropped in GBO2, which
Awesome.
on one hand, that's surprising, but on the other hand, they keep putting interesting UC suits in anyway. It's just that Atlas is such a unique design on its own.
Yeah, yeah, well, they're giving Thunderbolt a lot of love recently. I mean,
Yeah.
first it was that goof with the flight pack, which
Hmm.
is awesome.
I know. That's just a cool idea.
Yeah,
And then I think they have so many others too. Like they have that GM Kai, they have
yep,
the Psycho Zaku, and they have the Gundam itself. There could be others too. I think there are.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, someone's saying, is it me or does Adam sound low? Hey, that could be it. I can turn it up, and then you guys let me know.
Sweet.
What? But thanks for that, Goose. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, oh, MG Atlas for Ka maybe. Well, that's interesting because I almost feel like the Thunderbolt designs are taking that kind of Verka. Wait, don't tell me it's gonna freeze
You better
again.
not.
Okay, well, on my end, everything is frozen. So
Well, I
I'm
still
just going
hear
to
you,
continue.
and,
Yeah. Oh, God. But anyway, it's interesting how the designs in Thunderbolt are kind of like a modernization of what Katoki was doing anyway. So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, and so, and chat will probably confirm this for me, is I think that the master grade Psycho Zaku and Full Armor Gundam from Thunderbolt, those are Verka, aren't they? I mean, the box art
oh,
looks like Verka to me.
that could be that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're saying that they can't see us anymore. I cannot believe it.
Uh,
I mean, I guess we can still talk a little bit while I figure it out. But
yeah, I mean, the audio still seems to be coming through, right?
yeah, which is cool, but then that might mess it up. Yeah, it's really weird because I can.
It's like full podcast mode.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. Well, it's like I'm afraid to like stop and then start again. Guys, I know you always have to deal with this. Goose is saying, "Don't worry about it, keep going." But there's so many things I was gonna show. So
Oh,
many
I
things I was
know.
gonna
There's like so many screen shares that we have queued up.
Yeah, let me. Um, well,
If you refresh Wirecast, will it kill the stream or will it keep it going the way that it does when it crashes?
That's a good question. Let me do that real quick. I'm clicking the stream thing in Wirecast now. It's just flashing. Give it a second.
Okay.
Oh man, that time there was no NVIDIA, but that was a
Yeah.
different type of freeze. That was a
Yeah, that one was unique. But evidently we're back.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. So we need to like have that clip from John Wick queued up for every time there's a crash.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I'm
Yeah, I'm thinking
glad.
we're back.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're back because yeah, on my end it's still acting funky, but we can keep going. If I can get the visual stuff up, yeah, and it looks like it's all there.
Yeah, it
Again,
looks
sorry
good.
guys, and you know what? This time I had okay, it came up with some other error. I'm just gonna ignore it. If something explodes, we know why. Okay. Okay, so let me then, before something happens, I am going to change the scene. Hopefully you guys can see this. So what we're seeing is oh, that just popped in my head. Another reason it could be freezing up like this is because I have it set to ultra low latency, and I wonder if maybe there's
Ooh.
So that could be it for next time, guys.
Which is ideal for chat, but
Yeah, that was the main reason, but maybe with all this stuff going on. But anyway, what we're looking at right here is a 1/100, I believe, scale 1/100 scale G Savior that was custom made by Santo Bell, because he knows how much I love G Savior, and I have the 144 scale next to it, so you can kind of see that difference there.
yeah, the weathering on it's spectacular.
I know the weathering's great, and another interesting thing too, and I'll have to do this in maybe a proper video, but like the G Savior itself has some very interesting designs on it, especially the shoulders that I don't really know how to replicate on the 144th scale. But Santo Bell was able to find some interesting stickers that almost replicated that exactly. And I think that helps because it's really hard, with this 144th version to really make it look it's hard to say movie accurate because it's really just CG. Like a CG model accurate one, and it really has to do with the details on the shoulders. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I just wish there was a proper Bandai made master grade G Savior, and I know why they don't have one, but but one odd thing is, it is funny the amount of love I see for G Savior on Twitter, especially. Like, people are really positive about it.
I mean, it's got that cult appeal to it. That's it's like one of those Sci-Fi Channel movies, but Gundam.
Yeah, and where it's like, okay, they actually put the budget on the actors, even if it's lower budget. Okay. So next is the Blue Destiny. This is something I completed this week. Funny story. I had completed it. I decided to try a different type of matte top coat. It was Alclad 2 matte. And the idea was, because I want to be able to airbrush because it's cheaper and I feel like I have more control than a rattle can. But as soon as I was done, there was white frosting all over it. And it was like chalky. And I was just like, I ruined this. And so I'm like, during my work day, in every meeting, I'm just like, my Blue Destiny, what am I going to do? Like, I couldn't. So luckily, I just got some isopropyl alcohol and cotton swab, and I actually went through and I was able to fix it. And I gotta say, and we were talking about this yesterday, Stephen, I wonder if the issue came from me maybe mixing certain types of chemicals that are like within, for instance, the Panaline ink that I use. I think it was
Yeah.
reacting to that, caused that little white look. But again, I was shocked that I was able to easily go through, clean it up. I was even prepared for stickers to be removed, but the stickers were fine.
That's good.
I know.
So they were still held intact.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's Gunpla is a first of all, the new top coat that you have on it looks amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
that looks like a Robot Spirits or like a Mobile Suit in Action finish.
Yeah,
Like,
it's that TS30 flat. And I wonder if the coat that I had originally that messed up, some of it was still there. There was that texture that was blocking light from reflecting. And I think
yeah.
putting the flat over that kind of helped elevate the look I was going for. So I think inadvertently I made it look better than I was anticipating.
You maybe discovered like an accidental top coating technique that
Yeah.
um but yeah, I mean, we were talking about this yesterday over on my stream that, like, there's so many different chemicals interacting with one another. You almost, when it comes to correcting mistakes on Gunpla, you kind of want to elevate from one solvent to the next, right? So it's like, if it doesn't come off with water, try mineral spirits. If it doesn't come off with mineral spirits, isopropyl alcohol. If alcohol doesn't do it, then we step up to like some of the acetates and stuff like that, because you want to try and start with the mildest
Oh
solution
yeah.
to take it off. But when you have your panel line liquid is basically thinned with mineral spirits. So if you use mineral spirits to strip something off, then it's going to strip off your panel lining. It's
Yeah,
science.
I got to. Yeah, I know science, right? It's like I need a science more, dude, because then I'd be better at gunplaying. But no, it is actually very interesting, and like I want to say most of the time, I've shown it before, like my GM3, I will ruin something, but I was able to save this due to the isopropyl alcohol. So I guess keep that in mind, because I think you can maybe think you might have ruined something as long as it didn't melt. Then
Yeah.
it's probably good. Another thing to show off real quick that I'm just really proud of is the backpack was originally blue, and I was able to airbrush it and give it just
That looks good.
that nice dark coat. Anyway, I'll do a full review on this. I'm just so happy it turned out like that. Okay, another thing, and this I think is super awesome. I talked about this on a live stream that I did over the weekend. So, Steven, are you familiar with these HCM Pro figures? They're 200 scale.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have that Titans.
Oh, you do have it. Okay.
Yeah, so I have 3 of those. One of them is the Titans Mark II. I've got the Zeta Gundam, and I've got a Zazabi.
Okay. So was that the one you were showing me before that was in Wave Rider mode?
Yeah. I've got it
Okay.
over on the shelf up there, but
Okay. So having an HCM Pro in hand, to me, this is top tier. I would be buying all
awesome.
of these if it wasn't. It's almost like you might as well just be buying high grades and master grades at this price point as some of these. But it's like a full on. It's a model kit pretty much, and it just, for its size and scale, it's almost like a real grade, just because there's enough of the detail. The articulation is really good. The sculpt, it
They're
has
pre-painted.
pre-painted.
You
It
have
has a
like
neat
decals and things on them.
Yeah, that I love decals. So, but you can take off the chest piece here, which is interesting. Just another added little thing where you can look inside the chest.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start collecting these. There's not like a whole lot, but there's enough cool ones. Like there's a GM Sniper.
Ooh,
Totally
that's
want to get
cool.
that. And
Yeah.
Nike's saying HCM Pro stands for High Complete Model Progressive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of words. slapped
because
together.
and I don't know if you know the ones that I have, you can see there's like little nub marks on them, like they
Yeah,
were model kits that were just pre-assembled before packaging. So like,
and there's
yeah,
still parts, and I don't know if you ended up getting one in a box, but there's still parts on runners. Like when I
yeah,
got mine that I had to clip off. Yeah, I thought, yeah,
yeah. Usually like the beam saber is on a runner.
yep. And it has the hand molded on, which I'm not going to complain, to be honest. That's yeah. So anyone else in chat, if you ever get these, let me know what you think, what you suggest.
Yeah,
Because
very highly articulated. You
yeah,
can pose them really, really well.
and the detail, it does the thing I really like where in the ankle you can see like the metallic paint.
Oh, very
I mean, and
cool.
that's just a little detail. It's like they didn't have to do that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, you could have had just solid color plastic and it'd be just as happy. But and
yeah,
another thing about those HCM Pros,
yeah.
fascinating, the Zeta Gundam is fully transformable without part swapping. So like
Oh,
even the high grade Zeta Gundam that's,
has yeah.
bigger, you have to do part swapping to transform it. The HCM Pro one, it just collapses in on itself.
Okay, that's going to be in my next buy. And there's also a Rigazi I saw, and
Yeah.
that's a little pricey. Yeah, some of them are a bit pricey, but great line. If people are into the Gundam stuff and you want more than just a high grade or something, that's a great line. Um,
Absolutely.
so another thing I'll show real quick is, and it's just I just got a whole bunch of stuff at the same time, so I'm really just showing all that off. This is the Woundwort from Advanced Zeta. It's the Metal Robot Spirits, and as neat as it is to have something like this for the price, I don't think it was worth it. Um,
Really?
Especially because then I need to buy the add-on pack to do the rest of the stuff for it,
Right.
and that's another $80. It's it's just amazing to get this. I think that aspect is what made it worth it for me. It's just having another metal framed Advance of Zeta unit. So nothing.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know if I would do a review on that,
Well, and it's
unless
it's a very unique design,
yeah.
even among the Advance of Zeta. It reminds me of the Mac knife.
Oh, which one?
The Mac knife, I think, from a G-Reco.
Oh, not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
I see. It's just another show I gotta watch.
That's the best part is we've got like 40 years of content to cover.
I know.
So
I am not even done because eventually I'm gonna do commentaries for all shows and episodes, and that's gonna
awesome.
take up time. But I think that would be fun. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
here's an interesting one. In our mod, Ian actually has two because when this is Robot Spirits, when it first came out, there was an issue with the ankle where they put the wrong ankle on, and it wasn't that noticeable. And I remember they gave you the option: do you want to get this version or wait for the new one? So I got mine, I think, through Hobby Link Japan, and I just said I'll wait for the new one. But Ian went ahead and got the original as well as the new one, and he posted pictures online of the differences between the two, and you can't tell. You can't tell one is messed up. But I guess that is some neat quality control. I guess that Bandai, decided to
Yeah, I mean,
act
most
on.
companies would probably just write it off and say like, "Well, sorry."
Yeah, and I remember something recently happened with not recently, but like Hasbro's Power Ranger line. I want to say like one of the Power Rangers, the head came printed not too well, and they would send you a new one if you reached out.
Cool. Yeah.
So, I mean that's cool, but I wonder how many people don't reach out and they like calculated if we make the consumer have to reach out to us, there's less. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there was a. Do you remember when the first Matrix movie came out and they released the action figure set for the Matrix, and there were some of them that had some, we'll say, some sculpting issues. I'll let you guys Google exactly what the
Oh,
problem was, but those figures, like the first line before they fixed it, those go for an insane amount of money right now on eBay.
wow.
So
I that's weird. I don't remember that. But that's actually pretty interesting, especially how it's dictated. What is then worth something that has really no
Right.
value other than the perceived value? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Red Letter Media, and they had that VHS movie Nuki that is just
Right.
a horrible movie no one cares about, but they were able to make it worth more than a Back to the Future 2 VHS tape that was graded at the highest level.
That's
They're just
crazy.
they were trying to prove how that stuff doesn't really matter. Um,
Yeah, right.
which
Well,
it's pretty
and
interesting.
everything is only worth what people will pay for it, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, just like the wound wart. I just got it because it was. But anyway,
sucker.
with with this Easy 8 though, it's just a cool suit in general. Like, it reminds me that I want to do a video on this because the idea is that this is a Gundam, but like it doesn't look like the typical Gundam, and there's a lot of interesting things going on with it. Like even the let's see if I can get this open. Oh, sorry about that. The chest piece opens, and it's supposed to mimic like in the show where it had the easy maintenance that can go
Yeah,
on.
kind of like opens up and kind of leans forward.
Yeah. Um, which then I read that chest piece is made out of a Zaku 2 shield, which is very interesting.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
So like when they were rebuilding Shiro's Gundam, I think they purposely did that for a reason. I need to dive in more, and I'll make a video about it. But I guess had something to do with, by that time they knew what they could do to reinforce a mobile suit to make it stronger. So yeah, by that time in the war, upgrading the ground Gundam, they knew what things to add onto it.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it really
Yeah.
is like, field repairs, and that's one of the reasons that like the shield's a different color from the main body. Unlike
Yeah,
any other
that's a good
Gundam,
point.
it's
That's
like,
really cool. Yeah.
oh, it's just one of those neat sort of lore type deals where,
Yeah.
it's like this was obviously put together in the field by people who, maybe they knew about mobile suits, but they're not like engineers.
Right. Yeah. They just needed to get it ready for battle.
Yeah.
Um okay, so another interesting thing is that it comes with that backpack for when it's entering, well, it's already in the atmosphere, but I guess when it's doing some land drops from the air, and it like has a little propulsion to it, and it even comes with the effect parts for the
That's
propulsion. So
awesome.
yeah, a neat
Does it come with like a parachute?
no parachute.
Because I
No.
was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that the no grade 1/44th scale came with like one of those like little thin plastic
Yeah.
parachutes.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely threw it off my, I was on the top bunk of my bunk bed, and I definitely threw my Easy 8 off the top trying to get the parachute to.
That's
What an
awesome.
idiot.
But I'm sure it didn't break, right?
I mean, not so far that I couldn't put it back together.
Oh, okay, there you go. No, that's cool. When these model kits or roller shirts, whatever, when they come with accessories that give context to what it was doing in the show or whatever, that's always fun.
Yeah.
So I think that does it for the stuff that I got. Just wanted to show that off because I just happened to get a lot of stuff at once. Okay, so this other thing I'm gonna show. Let me fix that real quick. Or is it showing it? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. A couple things. So when it comes to some news, so GBO2, the Atlas is out. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a video on my channel, which it's almost outdated now because anyone can use the Atlas if you win it. But I'm showing off some exclusive video clips of the Atlas, how it's using its weapons. It's very accurate to the anime, which I love that they always do that with these GBO2 suits. It's like, okay, let's give it weapons, but it's based on what it does. So even in the video, I'm going through the weapons, and I was even looking at the wiki at the same time to match them up. Anyway,
That's
So what's
very
also
cool.
going on is Spring Festival. So I want to say, like, if you log in, I think every day there's going to be a chance to get a free mobile suit. Um, each week you get 10 free supply drops. So that's pretty cool. Oh, okay, this might not be every day. Yeah, it might, but yeah, because they were doing something I think last week or the week before, where it's like every day you can get a suit. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy how often they give away stuff. The the neat thing though is from SD Gundam Battle Alliance. There's those GM Gather Road type.
That's how I
Um,
pronounce it.
yeah, but it's just kind of cool that that's actually a suit now that's going to be in battle operation too. So,
Yeah.
and you know what's interesting with this Gather Road, and I haven't really looked into a lot of the. Actually, let me just look it up real quick. Like in the story of SD Gundam Battle Alliance, it starts where the mobile suits get like sucked into the other universe or whatever.
Right.
So it makes me think then is that Gather Road a
Well,
UC
that's like,
canon GM?
yeah, I was gonna say that was like an original GM in the game, and then like I remember the story that the AI in the story was like, okay, we're gonna camouflage your GM to look like a 1 year war GM, and so that's where it's like the gray chest piece turns red.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah. So then, yeah, I wondered then how much it really is within UC. But I mean, hey, it's in GBO2, so.
There you go.
But anyway, it's this thing where I think it's DLC you buy, where you get 31 tokens and the suit, and I think that's a good way to go about DLC, like
That's a
because
great
it's
deal.
mostly gotcha where you have to spend money on coins and then hope you get something. This is a way to get coins and a GM, and it's cheaper than doing it another way. So
Yeah. I definitely wish that there was some kind of like discount offered if you already have Battle Alliance on PS4.
yeah,
Like that, that way you kind of get that cross promotion benefit. But
yeah, because Code Fairy linked with GBO2, they can build in a system like that, and they really should have. They really should have. Yeah, that would have been the way to get something. So another thing is what's cool in GBO2 is they have like those boss battles you can do with it's like PvE. You can do it with friends.
those are a
They've
lot of
got
fun.
the Shamblo is in it next, which maybe it was before and I had missed it, but that's pretty crazy that they make all the mobile armors.
Yeah.
Um,
So far, I mean, how many have you played against? Did you do the both of the Psycho Gundams?
yeah, I think I did all of them except for maybe I don't know. I might have missed one or two previously.
Yeah. Well, and that the Anna Rose Rosenheim version
Oh
of the
yeah.
Queen Mansa is, I mean, to me at least, it was way harder than the regular Queen Mansa.
Oh yeah. I had to. I think that was one that Lord Mobius USS Talos might have helped me with. I had to like recruit people to be like, hey, guys, help me beat
Clan
this.
help.
Yeah, right. Which I want to add something. So yeah, I've been playing a lot with Talos, to where he's like teaching me a lot of little things that have been helpful. So another Gundam related thing I've been doing this week is playing Code Fairy, and I mean I played it before and I beat it, but to
Yeah.
go back and beat all the levels on normal because it's a hard game. So I was able to complete everything on normal. And now I'm going to go back and get S on everything. But what I was getting at is, you know, playing with USS Talos, doing that exhibition event with Bandai, it's like taught me a lot of these high level basics
Yeah.
that I'm applying it to Code Fairy and I'm murdering like the missions. So I want to throw that out there for anyone that is stuck in Code Fairy because some of it can get hard. Is like learning what they're trying to teach you in GBO2 translates really well to decimating in Code Fairy.
See now, like I'm the opposite because I feel spoiled in Code Fairy because you have those pilot skills, and
Oh yeah,
so the one
That's right.
thing I'm always like when I'm playing GBO2, I'm like, oh, I wish I could fairy step so bad.
Yeah.
Just
That's the thing in Code Fairy. I'll be at a moment where I'm like, okay, I'm about to die. I'm getting surrounded. I'll just use my ability, get like
yep,
what 30% health back. Yeah, that is kind of a cool little power up to have. Um, but anyway, you know, a goal too of mine with Code Fairy, and I don't know how many people have actually done this, is I want to beat it all on hard and get S's because then you unlock all the movies. Because I think that's the easiest way for me to dive into the story because it's if you think about it, Code Fairy really is just another Gundam story. I mean,
yeah,
it has animation. It tells the story in North America of just some Zeonic soldiers left behind trying to hold California base, and then it dives into some older lore, and there's new type stuff going on. So, for
it's really
me,
cool.
when it comes to video games, it's like gameplay first. But now I want to go back, revisit all the movies, kind of do a breakdown. Um,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's the same way it is with side stories. Like I wish that we would get a
oh,
proper translation of side stories to English so that
I
we could
know.
enjoy that story a little bit better.
And what's crazy about that is there's so many stories in there.
Right.
It's like all of those I'd love in English, and you get it to a degree in SD Generation Genesis, but it's in that
It's a
format
little
of
truncated.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's smaller form, not in terms of the storytelling, but also the look of the mobile suits, and it just makes it hard. You know, it's funny you say that because someone had brought up to one of the Bandai people I'm working with, like, you need to localize Missing Link or
Yeah.
such, even though it's been so long. But it, yeah, it
I
would
mean,
still
I
do
think it
good
would
to
be
them.
cool to, because even the way that Gundam Side Stories is, where it's like it's a re-release of like Blue Destiny and Zeonic Front and all of these other side stories, but just updated with that game engine. How cool would it be to get like side stories but with GBO2 gameplay?
Yeah,
Like just take GBO2 and skin it with
yeah,
Missing Link and Blue Destiny.
I totally agree because the one thing that held that game back was the forced lock on that
Yeah,
was like not even necessary at all, but it just made it easy to get to the next unit. But on some of the missions that really required, you to stay alive, it's like you didn't want that lock on to get in the way. I would rather
right.
just aim and shoot. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, cool. Okay. Another thing is that so the metaverse thing they've announced before, but I guess it's now more of a real thing because it's a Gundam build metaverse where it's going to start with 3 episodes.
Yeah, they're doing like a mini series.
Well, so then does that mean this is a sequel or a continuation of all the build shows that have come out? And I
That's a
haven't
good
watched
question.
them. Yeah, if anyone in the chat knows, like, are all the build shows like consistent? Is it like a storyline, or are they continuations? That would make it more enticing to start from the beginning. I did watch the YouTube shorts that came out when the kits were coming out, like in
Oh, the
Target.
battle log.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that was cool.
yeah, I thought that was actually pretty cool, and that was at a time where I didn't care about anything outside UC, but they did a good job of when there's low stakes because no one really dies. They did a good job of making it entertaining.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I enjoyed Build Fighters Try. I didn't watch, Divers or Re-Rise, any of that stuff.
ah,
So
okay. Yeah, Brian is saying he's watched the series. Yeah, let me know. Are they all related? Um, Goose is saying the first 2 are. Okay, so
yeah.
um, oh, you know what? Santabella's saying if they're adding a bunch of not mainline UC suits to GBO2, they should add in the that engage the UC engage suit, the RX-78 MS00Z. But that's that cool like Gundam they've gotten engage, and I would think they would do that because it seems like they're kind of if they're adding stuff from Battle Alliance.
Yeah. I mean, they're running
Yeah.
out of like MSV stuff that they're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, let's start collaborating with some of these other games out there. And
Yeah, I think that would be next. Yeah, especially considering the PC release hasn't happened yet, and it should be shortly.
yeah,
And they said something about continuing for 7 years. So like, that's just nuts to think.
that's wild.
Okay, Santo Bell's also saying, yes, all the Build Fighters diver shows are all connected through loosely between fighters and drivers shows. NeoX, yes, the Build series and the Diversity series are related, and that's the divers, are related all together. It first starts out with the original, then the Build series, then the Tri series, and then the other stuff happens. Okay. Because I'm about to finish Seed Destiny, so I would there's still so many shows I could choose from to watch, but maybe a palate cleanser,
Yeah,
like a build, yeah. Brian Zangeli, the Build Fighters was the beginning and Try was the continuation of where Build Fighters left off. Yeah, and I started one of the shows where it's like at the beginning, Rambo Raw, not really him, but there's a character that looks just like him.
yeah.
I think he's like the dad of someone.
And they have a lot of fun with that. A lot of those inside jokes,
Yeah, and
throughout all of the Build series.
and that seems like that would be fun, but you'd have to be in on it,
Right. Yeah.
But with this, at least they have officially announced the next step for their metaverse, even if this doesn't really still tell us like how we're going to be involved with the metaverse unless we watch it through an app. And in that app, they're making it where here's some kits you can buy that are from these episodes.
Yeah, something. Like I said, I do know that that Bandai has partnered with Deep Motion AI, which is an AI 3D animation suite. So theoretically speaking, if they were to start doing like a metaverse project, we've talked about like, scanning in your Gunpla and that kind of thing. Deep Motion AI would help bridge that gap from, just a flat 3D model to rigging it and animating it using humanoid animations, which are very easily translated between 3D models. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential there. The things, and I think that they even brought up the idea of like user generated content, which who knows what that means, like whether that's people contributing stuff to like a community page or something. But I mean, there's a lot of potential there, and I think that yeah, it'll be interesting to see which way they go with it.
Yeah, because yeah, you're right. There's a lot of potential. I mean, because we've even seen some things like Amiibos almost kind of cross over into that idea.
Yeah.
It's funny. It reminds me, like, I think just recently there was some hearing with Facebook's Meta, like where they were, I forget what this was. I don't know if this was a political thing or I don't know. But basically they're saying you need to describe what you mean by a metaverse. And they go, well, it's basically just VR. So it was like the first time that they were kind of really saying, metaverse is just the buzzword.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's fair. You think about like all the different types of branding out there. Like, we call Band-Aids Band-Aids. We don't call them bandages. It's like, it's not surprising to me that they want to kind of stake a claim in VR as like, oh, this isn't just VR. This is the metaverse.
Yeah. No, but for them to say that, but then we see Bandai actually starting to deliver, even though I don't feel the universeness of it yet, but they are doing this Gonna Build metaverse, and it could be the stories that are told are related to what they're going to be releasing or whatever to us eventually.
Yeah. I mean, it'll definitely, hopefully, the idea behind the show is to kind of whet the appetite of users into the metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's gonna have that tech you were talking about probably. It's probably all related. So
yeah, there was even mention of like different types of Web3 applications, which would be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious to see where this goes because I even feel like, there's that thing I felt like I've been dealing with as an adult where I'm buying this plastic and then it's like I get some satisfaction. It's like, well, what now? And I feel like a lot of people feel that, especially as you are an adult and you get responsibilities and then you have to think about your purchases. But like adding this other level to where there's more of an investment in your purchase, like where I can take it on to the universe with me or the metaverse, whatever. I think that could be a way to change in general. And again, I think Nintendo showed wisely. Nintendo as a brand, they're separated from the rest of the video game companies, I think, because they do their own thing. They know how to
Yeah.
leverage their IP. And
I
yeah,
mean,
I think
they still don't have, you can't play a Blu-ray on a Switch.
yeah,
Like they are an exclusively gaming company, not like an entertainment system the way that that Sony and
right.
Microsoft have drifted.
Because you can't just find lobbies to go chat with people, voice chat, and then jump into a game. It's like you have to use that game's specific, and usually the way it's made is not to chat because Nintendo
Yeah.
just wants to avoid that. So yeah, it is interesting. In a way, Nintendo does have its own metaverse, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting. Um, okay, next up, it has to do with P Bandai, the Neo
Oh man.
Zeon that sold out, unfortunately. Now, this is the narrative version.
Yep.
So there's the one from Unicorn's Red. A narrative. I think the idea was the Federation had it by the time narrative took place, but then they allowed the sleeves to have it because they wanted to trigger the Fenix coming or something. Isn't it something like that? I could be off.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a very silly to
yeah.
quote one of my favorite movies, bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see
Yeah.
how it plays out for him.
Well, it's weird because that by that time in like UC stories, it's really hard to figure out who's really the good guy or the bad guy. Now it seems
Yeah.
like it's just groups trying to get the latest technology to
Yeah.
be able to have the latest technology. So it's interesting. Apparently, this sold out within minutes, and it's one of
Wild.
those things where 310 is a lot of money, but it's like I would like to get something like this.
That's a lot of kit. I
And
mean, that's the size of a toddler.
yeah. But I'm wondering, was this announced before that it was going to be up for pre-order eventually, or was it just a few days before that they announced it? I want to say
I mean,
they
yeah,
announced it and it was up because this is the type of thing where, like, if they told me today, hey, in July this will be up for pre-order, I would then be putting aside cash, and then I
yeah.
would feel better about dropping 310.
But by the time I heard that they were reprinting it, it was already sold out.
Yeah,
So
I know, it's crazy. And I was talking before about how with P Bandai, it seems like that's not much of an issue anymore. You can typically get what you want and it doesn't sell out. Here's the stuff that I think we talked about last time. It's still up for pre-order.
yeah,
But I bet with the Xeon, it was a mix of, okay, it's another big expensive unit we haven't had out in a while. How many people are actually going to bite? They don't want to, overproduce.
yeah. And I mean, I think that just given the size of it and the color separation and all of that stuff, I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to produce. It would be a very limited run, I imagine,
Yeah.
because you have to think like if they're running all these injection mold machines, every Neo Xeon means like 5 high grades or 2 master grades that aren't going to get printed, right? Like
Maybe more.
maybe
Like,
more. Who knows?
it's crazy to think. Yeah, that's a good point to it. So,
Or maybe they just fished these ones out of the ocean from that ship that sank.
oh, I wonder how much.
These might be waterlogged. No, I'm
That's
kidding. That is total speculation. I have
but
no
that is a
evidence.
neat idea, though, to think during that time where there was a lot of this lost cargo, how many pirates are taking it upon themselves with their vessels to go out and try to like find this stuff. That would be pretty neat.
I'm surprised that they haven't made that like show on TLC or something
Yeah.
like
They
21st Century Pirates.
Yeah, and they
Uh,
like open up one of the canisters. It's just Gumpla. They're like, there's just a bunch of plastic. We can't do anything with this.
oh, we were gonna get a car.
Yeah. Anyway, my takeaway from this is that is a cool piece to have, and I probably won't be getting it soon. Yeah, that's about it.
And personally, I'd prefer
The red.
the unicorn version. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I would need that first, and then later I would get the narrative. Once I get the new house that can fit things.
No, you just kick your family out and turn one of their rooms into the Gunpla room.
No, but yeah, let me look at chat real quick. We're getting to the end of the show. I need to find a way to get is from Santo Bell, the Psychodoga P Bandai kit, because I guess they have it, but is it because you're in Australia? Maybe it's not available to purchase that way. New Neo Zeong may have fishy smell. Okay, that's the way to determine where they got their supply.
Not a
bug. The plastic will be fine. It's all wrapped up. I don't need a box or instructions. Yeah, that's definitely. Let's see. Oh yeah, Santa Bell saying can't buy P Bandai kits there. Wow. Well,
really, does that even apply to? And I am not sponsored in any way by this gentleman, but have you checked out the Hangar Bay? The Hangar Bay is a eBay / Shopify reseller of P Bandai kits.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he ships worldwide. He definitely ships to the US. But basically what you do is, you go to his website, you can pre-order things that are available for pre-order on P Bandai, and he'll pre-order it for you and ship it for you. So,
wow, and he has that Neo Zeong and it's sold out.
See, he couldn't even get his hands on it.
Yeah. I mean, it does say, please message me if you'd like to order. Maybe he's really trying to determine if you're really going to buy it or not.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. I kind of like how he has the setup. Thanks for the shout out to that.
I mean, that was the only way I was able to get my Totus Ritter, was because it didn't go on pre-order on the USP Bandai site, so I was like, I gotta find a reseller.
Wow, yeah, that would annoy me.
Right. That's how I feel about the Vincent Gleisner Gyaradoga. That's like the Gundam base limited.
Oh, yeah. Because that would be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to get.
It's really cool. This Master Grade Gundam X Impulse looks awesome, actually. Maybe I should share that again.
He's
now
like,
that I'm now that I'm watching Destiny, I'm into the Impulse stuff. But that's a good looking. Actually, let me. I don't think I had this. Yeah, that's a really good looking Gundam.
That's pretty sweet looking.
Yeah, just straight up a Gundam. That looks cool. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm gonna actually drop this link in the chat because I bet someone could make use of that. Oh, that's a Build Diver kit. Oh, interesting.
That makes a lot of sense.
Learning all this stuff, and funnily enough, sometimes the kits on Build Divers look cooler than what they were based on.
Their counterpart.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Okay. Well, you know what? I think that'll do it for today's show. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. I cannot believe there was another crash. This time, I am going to guess it was having that ultra-low latency. Maybe it just could not keep up with me shooting the video out.
Maybe we'll do a stress test like tomorrow. Do like a
maybe
pop on some 0081 and see if we can't.
Oh yeah, that'd be. And then I'll use like the green screen thing and see like if what is actually causing the crashes, because I hate to watch a podcast or listen and then there's some like mess up and then they're talking about it. It's like, okay, come on, just get with the content. So my plan is to deliver the best Gundam experience, guys. So just I'd
say that you're doing a pretty dang good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, okay, that does it, guys. Thanks for everyone that joined. Jump into our Discord if you haven't. Check the links in the description. There's ways you can support myself or Steven if you want, so you can get your week of Gundam every week. But I think that does it. So,
Yeah.
peace out, everyone. See you.
Thank you. Cheers.